Hey there, everybody in the FFBE Global Facebook group, and hello to everybody who sees this video on YouTube as well. Welcome to a delayed version of this week's Ask an Old Mog episode, where we try to answer questions from the global Facebook group in a visual way to try and help people understand the game and learn more about what you can and can't do, and try and help them kind of like work through like questions and problems that they're having as far as like gearing units and accomplishing things in the game. This week, we got an interesting question, one that I think is like unfortunately answered very, very easily if you want to kind of be like a troll, but one that if you really want to dig into it does have some interesting meat on its bones, and it has to do with turning a tank unit into a breaker if you really, really wanted to. So let's take a look at that question. This is the question that kind of came up, and it's kind of paraphrased a little bit, so I'm going to pop that up here. Hello, are there any TMR that make a tank into a breaker with at least 40%? I only play with story characters as a hard mode to see how far I can get, and the Esper skills are just too weak, only breaking 15%. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting question, I think. And let's take a look at what my response is. You betcha, but depending on how you're playing with only story characters, you may be severely limiting yourself. That said, of course I'm going to answer the question. So, if you are not summoning units with Lapis, that is, you're just playing through the story mode, you're just doing trials with these characters, and you're never getting any new units, you do have very few options. Like you mentioned, some of the Espers have skills that can break attack and magic, but they're actually not 15%, they are 70%. So let's take a look at those right now. We're going to go into units, and then into Espers. And I'm going to put on the screen Odin. And if we go to training for Odin, we can see, Odin has mental break here, which is only 15% spirit break, right? So we see that. And if we go to armor break, which is also over here, right? Defense 15% break. So yeah, yes, that is true. They only have 15% there. But if we look for another one, and we look for a different unit, a different Esper, we might find something a little different. Let's take a look at Shiva. And if we go to, let's see here, where is it? I just saw it a minute ago. Magic Break. Notice Shiva's Magic Break is 70%. Single target, but it's 70%, which is more than what you were asking for. You were asking for 40 or better. Shiva has 70% Magic Break. And you can, anybody who can equip Shiva can get access to Magic Break. Shiva also has defensive freeze, which is 40% defense and spirit, but that's obviously not as good. And I believe she also has offensive freeze. Where is it? Offensive freeze is, 40% attack and magic. So, it is there, but there you go. You wanted more than 40%. So Magic Break. And then there's also Power Break somewhere. It might not be on Shiva. Let me pull up my list that I was looking at. And I'm gonna put a link to this list in the description. So we're gonna go to Power Break. Power Break is on. Sorry about this. Is on Titan. Okay, here we go. So if we go to Titan. You go to train, and Titan also has armor break, worth noting. Titan has power break right here, attack 70%. All right. Now some other Espers have this as well. You can also buy the recipe for power break in Devastated Town. Ifrit has power break, so you can make power break and you can give it to anybody you want, but that's not our only options. Okay, we have other choices too. The Obsidian Bracer, which you can pick up in the story, so it's a story item given to you for free, is an 80% break that happens only at the first turn of the battle or every round. So like if it's like a multi-stage fight, it breaks the enemies every stage. But once you get through the duration of it, you're not going to get it back. So it's not something to be relied on for long-term fights. You can also get something called Wave Cannon, and this is a trial reward. I'm gonna go to my items here. Items. It's an ability. You've got something called Wave Cannon. Here you go. Every other turn you can do a defense and spirit 50% break. So that's something. There's also something called tidal waves. This is an ability. Right? And that's attack and magic 45% for all enemies. It also chains with flood, so it's something useful there. So you do have some options, but we have even more options if you're willing to craft items, if you're willing to level up your espers, if you're willing to pull some units. So we'll take a look at those next. If you are summoning, you have got more options. So there is a TMR, it's a green magic spell called Deprotect. It's 75% defense break, and that's a TMR, or you can learn that on several espers. I happen to have it learned. It's a TMR from Mizell. So I'll go to my units here and show it to you. And I happen to have it equipped on Runda here. One limitation on this is that it is a level 3 green magic, but again, it's 75% defense break. There is a corresponding one, D-Shell. You have to buy the recipe for it and craft it. But D-Shell is a 75% spirit break. Again, level 3 green magic. So you have to have this right here where it says green level 6 or green level 3 to equip it. There you go. Worth noting, Imperil also is a 100% Imperil to every element. So that's not bad, and Runda can equip both of these. You specifically asked about making a tank into a breaker with these materials. So there you go. So ability materials for Runda, he can equip these. But even bigger than and those are also on espers too, so I wanted to point that out. If we go to our espers, try and give Runda, Diablos, for example. Our Diablos, if you go to his magic, lo and behold, he's got D-Shell in his kit. He's got Deprotect, he's got Imperil. So you can give anybody, if your Diablos has D-Shell, Imperil, and Deprotect, you can make them into a breaker just by giving them Diablos. So that's pretty easy. And then if that takes care of your defense and spirit breaks, and then you've got somebody else wearing like magic break and power break, and now you've got 75% breaks all the way around. That's going to get you started pretty well. But even bigger than those, there are some items called Numbing Thunderbird, Earthbreaker, Darkbreaker, and Lightbreaker. And these are abilities that you can equip. Okay. That you learn from, they're just TMRs that you get from various people. So Earthbreaker, for example. This is a TMR that you get from Tulian. He's a Neovisions unit, and it does an 85% all stat break to all enemies for 3 turns and a 130% Earth Imperil. That's pretty good. It only lasts for 3 turns, and it cools down for 5 turns. So you can wear another one. You can put on Numbing Thunderbird. Bird. Maybe I could spell. There we go. Numbing Thunderbird is the same thing, except for it's lightning down. But the breaks are the important part. So 85, 85, 85, 85 all the way around. And then 130 lightning Imperil. Or you could put Dark. There's a Dark Breaker. This is from Axstar the Return, another Neovisions unit. And lo and behold, it's just the same thing as Dark. And then there's also Light Breaker. So 130 light, 85 all the way around, and this is from Reagan the Return. So the caveat here is that only certain units can wear these. They have to be units with the breaker tag. So like Runda, for example, does not have the breaker tag. If you look right here, he's only got the tank tag. He cannot wear those materials. So he's limited there. But if we put somebody in the party who does have those tags, then they can wear the Earthbreaker. So just to demonstrate that here. Here's Runda. I'm going to try and equip him with Earthbreaker. And search and all, and notice it's grayed out, so I cannot even equip it. It does not let me because he's not a breaker unit. Okay, so you are kind of limited there in what you can equip. But let's say you only want to play with free story units, like you said, and you do have the ability to obtain some of these things, and you want to equip them. Okay, so there are a couple units who can equip these. So if we go to our units here and we sort out only FFBE units that are breakers, and we scroll through this list, there's a lot of them here, obviously. these are not necessarily story units, but look who is. The original Rain and the original Jake. So Rain and Jake both have this little down arrow tag that's a breaker tag. That means they can equip Earthbreaker if they really want to. Look at that. So Rain can wear it, and Jake can wear like Numbing Thunderbird. And between the two of them, we can rotate and have AoE breaks at 85% for everybody and all the enemies that we're fighting. And that's not terrible. They also have some abilities in their kits. I think you know about that. Like Jake has attack 45%. Rain has Undermine, which is 30% to everybody. Nothing that good. You know, nothing's like breaking the game at that point. That's where like the Earthbreakers and stuff like that come in handy because they are really good. Also, Runda is here to show you. Well, we'll show Blue Mage Fina first. So Blue Mage Fina is a free unit that you can get from playing Chapter 3 of the game, and she's got some breaks in her kit, even though she doesn't have the breaker tag. So if you look at her special abilities and her magic, she's got Magic Mind Blast, which is an 80% attack and spirit break, as well as a wind and light imperil. Kind of nice. And then she can also, if you go into her special abilities, I thought she had something else. I don't think she does, though. She does not. So she's got that one. Oh, she's got, that's what it was. In her shift form, she's got a light imperil at 125, which is a break, technically. And there you go. Yep, cool. And then Runda. So Runda in his special abilities has an 80% attack and magic break all enemies. It also chains with bolting strike. It's a nice ability that he's got. And then if he's wearing his Runda Blaster, which he does in my setup here, he's got this ability Anti-Assault Field, which is an 87% attack break. Now Runda is a free unit. You can play Season 4 of the game and get Runda for free. Get him at EX3. He's one of the best free units there is in the game. And he's a story unit because you get him by playing the story. So he's your best go-to. But Fina also has that defense and magic break. So between Runda and Fina, you've got some nice defense, attack, and magic breaking going on with free story units. Or you can just give people Espers, or you can just give people those breaker materials and things like that. Okay. So the answer to that question is, while you can give tank units some of these skills in a number of ways, you know, Runda has his own limitations, like not having the breaker tag. It's just going to be a lot easier to bring a dedicated breaker unit. But if you're playing the way you're playing, where you're only bringing free story units, you're extremely limited on what you can bring. You're extremely limited on the power level of your units. You're extremely limited on like all kinds of things. So I hope you're summoning at the very least. You can pick up some of these things. You know, spend the Lapis that you get for free to make these units that you are playing with as strong as possible. There you go. Also, don't forget that Neovision's Rain is a free unit that you get from playing Season 4 as well, and that you get him from doing the panel quests, like just like the beginner quests and stuff like that. But then you can upgrade him for free, basically playing Season 4 of the game. So I would call him a story unit as well. He's going to be your best bet as a free damage dealing unit. There you go. If you're not wanting to use Final Fantasy Brave Exvius units, but you want to use something that they give you for free, Neovision's Lightning is also given to you for free on the panel quests. So technically she could be arguably a story unit because they give it to you for free, but she's not an FFBE character. So there you go. Now, if you're going to broaden yourself even further and you're just going to play with characters with the FFBE tag, you know, there's a lot of units you can use. Most notably, Abigail, right? So we can't talk about tanks that are breakers without talking about Abigail for a second. She's on banner right now. She's got the breaker tag, and in her kit, she's got these anti-physical mechanisms and anti-magicals that are 87% breaks, AoE, all enemies. She can break all stats for everybody at 87%, and she's probably one of the best sources of that happens to be a tank. You know, so she is a tank that breaks. We can't get through this video without mentioning her and how powerful she is in the current Clash of Wills, and I think will be very, very powerful going forward as well. Way easier than trying to force Runda to be a breaker, way easier than trying to force, you know, any of the original story units to be a breaker, because she actually does it well. And there you go. So, can you make a breaker into a tank unit using TMRs? Yeah, TMRs and equipable abilities from espers and magic spells and things like that. Yeah, you can. It just maybe is not the most efficient way to do what you're trying to do. But you play the way you want to play, which is really what these videos are all about. I want you to learn how to, do the things you want to do, know what's available, know what's out there, so that you can hunt these things down and play the way you want to play. That's what this is all about. Have fun with it. What I'm going to do is go ahead and put a link in the description to the equipable abilities page where I learned all this information about what breaks and what skills are out there, and it's going to put a lot of information on like where you can get them. So hopefully that will be helpful to you as you try and hunt down some of these things. And yeah, hope that helps, and I hope you have fun with it. And if you've got a question for next week's video, let me know in the comments, and we'll try to be on time this week. Until then, be good to each other, take care, and we'll see you in the next video. Why did I go to that? I didn't mean to go to that.